Yeah, right. Very nondescript. Kind of very interesting. And by the way, the theory is, and the rumor is, there are many of those dotting the states that are close to the Canadian border across the United States. So we've got multiple. Of course, we've heard of these, UFOs shutting down some of these flights of Nike missile sites over the years, and they might have 8 to 10 nuclear missiles in the ground in one flight of nukes. And of course, those things are scattered all across the northern tier of the United States. So it's kind of interesting that they were very active back then, and now they're just actually getting rid of them, actually selling them if people are interested in purchasing them.
Yeah, one of my listeners a couple weeks ago said that they bought one for around $125,000.
Yeah, I believe that's about the going rate right now.
Yeah, well, you know what? If somebody had $125,000 and bought it, and then spent another $80,000 to $100,000, they could make a nice, livable, secure place for when the world comes to end. I don't know, but I tell you one thing: you won't have to worry about your neighbors.
No, exactly. There you go. And that blast door is going to be hard to get in to as well. Let alone it. You don't really understand how much land goes along with that missile site too. So if someone's purchasing this thing for $120,000, not only are they getting all this structure underground, but they're getting quite a piece of land as well. So it's kind of an interesting thing that, of course, a lot of these things are not in the best locations in the world, so you really got to be able to survive in isolation as well.
Yeah, the other part, some of it's in the deserts too, and I tell you what, I'd be very leery to buy one and go in it, and I'm wondering how many little rattlesnakes would be running around in there.
Yeah, you definitely want to renovate that whole thing right away, and even deal with some of the groundwater that's probably been seeping in, throughout the decades as well. There's usually sump pump systems that they had to put in there during those things, and if they're not running periodically, they probably have to deal with some standing water as well.
No, indoor swimming pool.
Yeah, there you go.
So you got your friends together. You formed the UFO I team. Now, how long have you been together officially as the UFO I team?
Well, officially, we started meeting a year ago, August. So just a little bit over a year. This past August was our year anniversary of actually getting together and kind of having formal meetings once a week. When I heard in my research over the years that Russell Targ, Jacques Vallée, and Kit Green used to hang out together once a week at Denny's during the formative stages in the 70s of them coming together with the remote viewing program and Vallée writing some of his books and stuff. I said, hey, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for the UFOI team. So we meet at Denny's.
Well, do you
in our neck of the woods.
Now, do you drink much coffee?
I used to, but since my bariatric surgery, no more caffeine. So I'm off the coffee now.
Well, I'm going to tell you this: Denny's has the world's best coffee.
Oh, they did. Yeah, they really do. And in the old days when I was really, overweight, I would go for I would bring in my own coffee cup because I really liked, large cups of coffee. But you know what it is? You drink the coffee out of their coffee cups because it's just fresh and it's hot, and they're there right on the spot to refill it for you. So I learned my lesson really quick. You don't have to get a big coffee cup to really enjoy their brew there at Denny's. And they're getting all, automated now with, the internet orders and the to-go orders that you can even have Uber pick up your food, at Denny's nowadays and bring it right to your door. You don't have to leave your house.
Or McDonald's.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That's one. I don't know. I don't know how long that company is going to be around. I mean, that's interesting. Anyway, now, I mean, how many people in this year since you formed the UFOI team have come and gone? And do you do any screening of anybody if they want to become a member of the UFOI team? I mean, if you didn't know me and I just walked in there and said, "Hey, I want to be a member of the UFOI team because I watch Comet TV and I watch a lot of UFO movies."
Yeah,
are you
sure.
are you going to add me onto your team, or is there some type of screening a person goes through, or what happens?
Well, we have no formal screening at all. No. Matter of fact, if people are interested, just sitting in and listening and kind of joining in, if they feel comfortable, we encourage that. And there is no like background check or anything like that that comes up. Basically, the whole group is so diverse and pretty much dedicated to what we're doing that it kind of becomes a self-selecting process, that if they're not willing to put the time and effort in and come to the meetings and maybe come up with some ideas or some input during the process, then, they kind of like drop out potentially after a while. Maybe they'll come and go, every once in a while. We have a group of a few people that are kind of peripheral members, and they like to show up whenever they can or whenever they're in town. But they all have, a lot of them have full-time jobs as well, so that's understandable. I'm now semi-retired myself, so I've just been really having a wonderful time being able to put a lot more time into research and sky watches and putting together our weekly broadcasts that we do over Facebook Live, where people can actually join our meetings right from the comfort of their own homes, just kind of watching. And they can interact with us during the meetings as well that way. So it's been a lot of fun.
Now,
and
go ahead.
As you know, there's been some really interesting and exciting investigations that we've been involved with just this last summer. Mount Baker, Mount Adams, and the different things that we've been invited to be a part of here, the Project Blue Book promotion in our neck of the woods in Seattle. And
now,
it's kind of fun.
I got to interrupt you. Are you still glowing in the dark? This Mount Adams thing is still really bugging me. You know that? I don't know if you were listening to the show before you came on, but I was telling Mary Joyce about your experience, what happened. I got to ask you a question. Are you still freaking out a compass on your left side of your wrist?
Gosh, I should have brought my little compass with me down to the broadcast today and do a test for you right over the thing. I haven't checked it since the last time we were on the air, and you told me to do it because it definitely had I didn't have a watch or anything, or even a ring on my left wrist, hand or anything, and it definitely reacted to a compass where I had these 3 equilateral triangle puncture marks on my wrist. And then, of course, as we mentioned before, my steel-toed boots that I was wearing on the investigation down there at East City Ranch and at Takalaka Lake around Mount Adams, the left shoe is totally magnetic.
Okay, now I got to ask you a favor.
Not so much.
I got to ask you a favor. When you come over to visit again, okay, because with my health issues, it's really hard to get down on the floor, but I've dropped a lot of little screws working on the electronics. Can you wear them boots and pick them up for me?
Yeah, I'll just schlep around the studio and pick up everything.
I just thought, why not?
Yeah, and it's just fascinating, the whole idea of, we had during that last event at, we call it the incident at Mount Adams, by the way, or the Mount Adams incident. We had actual videotape captures of up-close and personal UFOs with laser beams being shot out of them, by the way, in our direction. And we have that on tape. And we have multiple witnesses that saw that from different angles, not just our Skywatch team. And then we've got Bigfoot activity and castings of Bigfoot, actual footprints from East Ranch. And then over at the north side of Mount Adams, when we're at Takalaka Lake doing follow-up investigations, we had this, electromagnetic anomalies that were just strange. It made our compasses. We finally scrounged about 4 compasses from the team that was there, and every compass, when we sent them around the perimeter of the campground, was pointing in a different direction. So
almost
then
like
we had
almost like that away he did it.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And everybody's pointing in a
different direction. Yeah. Well, I got to ask you a question. Have you yourself? You still haven't got an X-ray of your wrist, have you?
No.
You need
I
to
didn't do that.
You need to do that.
I did do I went to what do they call it? A skin doctor that deals with issues. I had a bump on my right shoulder that was very pronounced after this event. So I actually went and had it surgically removed, and the thing was sent to the lab to do the biopsy and everything. It didn't have any metal in it. It just had a big kind of like sack of material that was embedded in my right shoulder for some reason. I haven't, some people think that if they have an implant in their person and they have it removed, it might even affect their health if the thing has been removed, because maybe these implants are there to help keep your body system in check or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But I haven't had any ill effects from that, so I'm assuming maybe that wasn't anything related to the Takalaka Lake incident.
Well,
but who knows? But I haven't gotten the wrist looked at other than just taking the pictures.
Well, what you need to do is write you wrote some books. You're an author. Why don't you write a book about your experience on Mount Adams? Because, I'll tell you, it is creepy. It is strange. And if anybody has been abducted, okay, I think you have. Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate that encouragement, because that's exactly what I want to do, is put all these anomalous things that happen to us down on paper in a story form, and in a little novel, basically, of what happened to us during that 4 or 5 day period in August this last summer. It's I've never experienced that amount of anomalous activity, including missing time. We got to mention that.
Yeah, and a glowing watch.
And potential alien abductions with some of the UFO I-team. Literally, each of them have a story, and I can only write it from my perspective, but I'm encouraging everyone to write their stories down. And we've even had a few people undergo hypnosis, regressive hypnosis, with Mary Kennedy, who was trained by Dolores Cannon. So I want to get their transcripts as well into the story, just to give people some corroborative evidence of what people are confirming under hypnosis as well.
Now, I got to ask you another question while I have you on. Okay, one day you were at Denny's, right? And this is before you had your surgery. You were eating food, right? All talking, enjoying yourself, right? And you said this older man comes walking in with like an 8x10 envelope, white envelope. And the first thing in your mind is, I'm getting served, because you're an attorney. Okay, some guy comes in, a process server. No, it was plans on how a UFO actually propels itself. Have you heard anything more about the information he gave you, or was he a fruitcake?
Well, I don't believe he was a fruitcake. He was I would say